Hey everyone, welcome back to building an iOS app in 14 days with AI. I'm Connor, an iOS developer, and I'm walking you through my 14-day roadmap of building a full iOS app and shipping it to the App Store in just 14 days, all with AI. In today's video, we are on day 9 of 14. Yesterday, we set up a paywall in our app, and today we are needing to connect that paywall to RevenueCat so we can actually collect money from users. The app that we are building in this series is an app called Whisper. It is a voice-first mental health journaling app where users can journal in just 30 seconds. They speak their thoughts, get instant transcription. They can track their mood and help them build the habit of journaling. So for today, we need to go over to RevenueCat. This is a RevenueCat website. We are going to be using their SDK for our paywall. RevenueCat provides a backend and wrapper around Apple's StoreKit and Google Play, make implementing in-app purchases and subscriptions easy. You can build and manage your app business on any platform without having to maintain in-app purchase infrastructure. So they make it really easy to set up a paywall and collect actual money from users. I've used them in a handful of my apps, and I think they're really, really great. So in order to start with this, we need to add RevenueCat to our app. So we're going to go to their guide website, copy this. We're going to go over to Xcode, File, Add Package Dependencies. We're going to paste that in that we just copied, Add Package. I'm going to add RevenueCat and the receipt parse, the UI, and custom entities. Add package. If you go over here to the files, scroll down, and you can see we have successfully added RevenueCat to our iOS app. Now we're going to go back to the guide. It tells you to just add these two. I added all four, but that's really not a big deal. And then we want the instructions for actually using the SDK. So we need to import RevenueCat in our app. So we're going to go to that paywall we created yesterday, which is the onboarding paywall view. Close this, move that over, going to import RevenueCat. Okay, now we can access the RevenueCat SDK inside of our app in this paywall. And I am going to go to Codex. I'm going to unpack this, and I'm going to say we need to configure RevenueCat with our paywall. Do you know how to do this? I just imported the SDK. I'm asking if it knows how to do it because I don't want it to try do it and do it wrong. If it doesn't know, we'll do what we have done earlier, which is ask something like Perplexity or ChatGPT to create a list of instructions for us on how to use RevenueCat SDK using research. And then we'll give that set of instructions to Codex. But if it can figure out how to use RevenueCat just from the package that we added, then we won't need to do that extra step. While that's working, I'm going to show you the RevenueCat dashboard. So obviously you'll need to create an account with RevenueCat. You'll need to create a new app. I created Whisper for us. It just literally asks for the title. And then we will need to eventually configure products. We can build the paywall right inside RevenueCat if we want. We built our own custom one, but they have a really great paywall editor, so you can edit it on their website and just use that directly in your app. It also makes testing different kinds of paywalls really easily. So while Codex is coding, we are going to add a new offering to our app. So this is going to be our subscriptions. Standard subscriptions for Whisper. We're going to go to product setup. We're going to be using a test store for today's implementation. Later in this series, we'll work on the full App Store Connect configuration. So adding our app to App Store Connect so we can actually upload it and distribute it, creating the actual products in App Store Connect so we can actually collect money and go from there. But for the simplicity of this video, we're just going to get this working, and then we'll go do the more administrative configuration stuff later. So this is going to be subscription weekly one, in case we want to test different ones, weekly sub. And then this is going to be, I can't remember if we decided on the pro or premium wording. So I'm going to search in our app. Okay. I'm going to search for pro in our app to see if that's what we did. And it looks like right here, Whisper Pro. So we're going to go back, call it Pro. It's an auto-renewing subscription. The duration is weekly. And the base price that we are going to do is, I think it was $2.99. Actually, you know what I'll do? So I'll go open a new Xcode Assistant chat and say, how much are the weekly and annual subscription for this app? Just to show you how these AI features work, the other thing we can do is load the canvas and see what appears for us. But this is going to search through our project and hopefully find us the right answer. The weekly plan is $129 per week and the annual plan is $399. per year. The reason this isn't building right now is because Codex is actively coding for us. We might want to change that to something like $2.99 per week. It just seems like a better price for now. So I'm going to create that product, and then I want to create another one. So we're going to go back to products, new product, test store, and let's see, annual subscription 1, annual subscription Pro, auto renewing. This is going to be a yearly, and our base price for this one is $39.99 per year. But we're going to change the math a little bit here because we've done 2.99 weekly, so that's $155. And typically you want to give probably like a 20 to 30% discount when you are doing an annual. And so when we do 155, we do 0.7 is 108. And just to make it look nice, I'm just going to round that down to $99 per year. We can test out different price points to see what sticks, what people are actually going to pay for. But that feels pretty good. So if we do $99 per year, they get a pretty decent discount from the weekly subscription. But the advantage is we get more money up front to invest back into our app. And they have the option to be committed or just take it as a week-by-week basis. So we've got those configured now, which is great. We're going to go back and see how Codex is doing. It looks like it was able to figure this out, and so it's gone ahead and just started the configuration for us. So as soon as that's complete, we'll check that this works with those products we just created. Codex is now saying it is done with our paywall. Let's do a run and see. It looks like we've got a lot of errors. So we are going to, maybe just 2. So purchase error helper is not existing. So we're gonna, as usual, screenshot this, copy it, go back to Codex, Control V. Let's fix these errors. But for the most part, it seems like it did a good job. The thing that we'll have to do manually is go over to our project and go to API keys. And you're going to want to get the test store API key. Just copy that, and then Codex will tell us exactly where we need to put it. But the API key is what connects the SDK to your dashboard, and it lets your app be aware of the products that we have created, and just basically it's the bridge of this communication so that the SDK knows exactly what information we're looking for. Okay, so Codex appears to be done. Let's see if this works again. Still have this error. Purchase controller, it is an observable object, so I'm not sure what the issue is, but we're just going to copy this. Observable object should just expose this to basically being able to be observed by other things. So it notifies like our views if there's a change made to a data object and tells that view to update to reflect that change. Looks like there's more detailed errors here, but it is doing the right thing. So I'm just going to cancel this, take a screenshot of this, and do the Control V. Let's fix these. We don't really need to combine for this. This is one thing that we can ignore for now. AI really likes to use combine and split for some reason, and combine is a framework I just don't use very often. Combine is basically a framework that customizes handling of asynchronous events by combining event processing operators. So it's a way to just have more control over updating your app and controlling data flow and stuff. I hear great things about it. It's just complicated and definitely out of scope for this video. And so I typically in my rules files and stuff for my projects say explicitly to avoid combine. ChatGPT particularly seems to love combine. Claude actually does as well. So in like all my Claude chats, I have a rule that says never use combine. The other confusing thing is too, there's parts of SwiftUI that look like they're combine or they're based on combine, but aren't actually, but AI just kind of assumes they are. And so it will go the combine route pretty frequently, but that is not what we want. Okay, so the app failed to build and these errors make no sense to me. So I went over to Claude Code, took a screenshot of that and asked it to build the app and try and figure out what's wrong. Because Codex, I think, was on the right track, but it wasn't quite getting us there. And Claude is a lot faster. And so we're going to see if Claude can get this for us really quickly and then go from there. Okay, so Claude was able to fix it for us, which is awesome. We have got that configured. So now we just need to go and add our API key in to the configuration so that it will actually collect our products for us. So I'm going to ask Codex to, let's see, can't remember the command for clearing that. So I'm going to go back and delete. Okay, so we're going to compile the project now builds successfully. Where do I need to put my API key? We can ask exactly what we need to do, and then we'll go and just throw our API key in there and then test this built, which is great. When we go to paywall, oh, accidental breakpoint there. So we're just, okay, this seems to be working. Just our API key is missing. And so I can even look here too and say this. It says to add this to our info plist or inject via purchases controller. So I'm going to copy this because Codex is kind of taking a while to do this. Here's the actual initialization of our purchases controller. So I'm going to go and actually put the API key in there. So I added the API key into our info plist, very similar to how we added the permissions for the microphone. Just the RevenueCat API key on the left side and then the actual API key on the right side. This tells me it's set up, but we don't have our offerings configured in RevenueCat, so we're going to do that next really quickly. So back to RevenueCat. These are the products we've created, our weekly and annual subs. So we just need to create an offering that basically bundles those together. This is going to be default, standard set of packages, and then we want to, I guess, yeah, add a new package. So we're going to do our annual one. Product is going to be annual, let's see. Pro, okay, so that's one. Add another one. We want weekly, pro, weekly. Save that. Cool. Now we have got our offerings configured. So let's go back to Xcode. Now you can see that these changed, right? And I'm doing per year and our weekly subscription. So we've got that work. We're going to continue with our weekly payment plan with, and this is the testing, right? So we're going to test a valid purchase. Let's see what happened here. Getting app transaction. No context away. Problem with the App Store, which is fine because we're in a testing environment. So that should have worked. We should now be on Pro, but the whole testing thing isn't set up. But this is what we'll do is we'll add this to our list of notes to polish. Is when we complete a successful purchase, we want to dismiss the actual paywall and proceed as if it worked. But that's the basics of getting RevenueCat configured in your app. Basically, what it did is in this purchases controller, it added RevenueCat support to configure everything that we need to handle our subscriptions and let us make purchases in the app. The thing that we will do later in this series is change the API key for our actual production environment, configure things in App Store Connect, and actually test a purchase. So that's it for this video. If you want the full breakdown and walkthroughs and prompts that I use to build apps with AI in just 14 days, you can check out my community app launch club. We are live weekly, building together, working on apps. You can come with your questions and anything that you need help with on your app. I've got the full roadmap here in the classroom with more resources coming soon for everything you need to start your journey as an indie iOS developer. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.